Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back if you're subscribed. In this video, we're gonna make this beautiful crochet beret. Thank you so much for stopping by, and let's get started. So for this video, I'm gonna use this yarn bee yarn that I got from Hobby Lobby. I couldn't find the exact yarn on their website, but I found a similar one, and I will attach a photo here of the yarn that you can use. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my 4mm crochet hook. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, to start, you can start with chaining 5, or you can do a magic circle. If you chain 5, after you chain the 5, you're gonna slip stitch on the first chain, and if you do the magic circle, let's just do the magic circle. Okay, before we do that, I'm gonna lock this in with one chain, and then I'm gonna do the 16 single crochets. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, after crocheting 16 single crochets, I'm gonna pull my tail and close the ring, and I'm going to slip stitch on the first single crochet I did, like so. Okay, so to start the second round, we're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're just going on rounds. We're not gonna flip the project or anything. We're just gonna go around. Okay, now we're gonna make a puff stitch into the same stitch that we did the 2 chains. And to do that, so we're gonna yarn over, insert our hook, grab the yarn. We have 3 loops, yarn over, insert the hook, grab the yarn, and pull. We have 5 loops, yarn over, insert the hook, and pull over. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We yarn over and pull it through all the loops, like so. Okay, and then we make a chain 1 to close the puff stitch. Now we're gonna chain 1. We're gonna skip 1 stitch, okay, and then on the next stitch we're gonna make another puff stitch, and we're just gonna repeat what we did here. We're gonna insert our hook, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over until we have 7 loops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We pull the yarn over through all the loops, chain 1 to close the puff stitch, and then we chain 1, skip the next stitch, and we just repeat that all the way around until we get to the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I just finished my round here. I finished the last puff, and then I did the chain 1 to close it, and then I chain 1. We should have 8 puffs. And now to close the round, we're gonna slip stitch in top of the first puff that we did. Okay, and this is what we have. Okay, now to start the second one, we're gonna slip stitch on the middle space between the puffs. Okay, slip stitch. We're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2. We're gonna make 2 puff stitches into the same space. So we yarn over, put up a loop, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop. We have 7 loops. Pull it through all the loops, chain 1 to close the puff, chain 1, and we repeat the same thing on the same space. Okay, now we have 2 puff stitches on the same space. Okay, and we're gonna repeat the same thing all the way around, which means we're gonna go between spaces between the puffs. So yarn over, go to the same space and create the puff stitch, pull it through, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, and go through all loops, chain 1 to close and chain 1, and we create the other puff stitch, and we're gonna repeat that all the way around. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I'll come back. Okay, I just finished the last 2 puff stitches here and I did my chain 1. So now I'm going to slip stitch on the top of the first puff stitch that we did at the beginning. Okay, now we're gonna repeat the same thing again. We're gonna go to the middle space between puff stitches and slip stitch there. We're gonna chain 2, 1 and 2. We're gonna make another puff stitch there on the same space. 1, 2 and 3. Pass it through all. Chain 1, and then we make another puff stitch on the same space. Okay, so now on the next space between puff stitches, we're gonna make 2 double crochets. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. So now the pattern has changed a little bit. We have 2 puff stitches, 2 double crochets, and on the next middle space between puff stitches, we're gonna make another puff stitch. Okay, so there's 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, and we make another puff stitch on the same space. 1, 2 and 3, and we make that chain 1 to close the stitch, and then on the next middle space 2 double crochets. There's 1 and 2, and we're just gonna repeat the same thing all the way around until we get to the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished the round, and we should finish with the 2 double crochets, and then just to finish it off like we've been doing it since the beginning, we are gonna slip stitch on top of the first puff stitch. Okay, and this is what we should have. Okay, and then we're gonna repeat same thing. We're gonna go to the next middle space between puff stitches, and we're gonna slip stitch there. We're gonna chain 2 and start our new round, and same thing, we're gonna make a puff stitch on the same space. Just 1, 2 and 3, chain 1, make another puff stitch on the same space. 1, 2 and 3, close the puff. Okay, now we're gonna double crochet on the next space between the puff stitch and the double crochet we did on the previous round. So double crochet, and we're gonna double crochet on the other 2 that we did. Okay, so there's the first one, and the second one. Okay, after we make 3, okay, after we double crochet on top of the 2 that we did previously, we're gonna do another double crochet between the space between this double crochet and the puff stitch. Oop. So now we have 4 double crochets, so we're gonna repeat that all the way around. 2 puff stitches and then 4 double crochets all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished the round, and I finished them with 4 double crochets, and then same thing, slip stitch on top of the puff, first puff we did at the beginning of the round. Go to the middle space, slip stitch, chain 2, and do it again. 2 puff stitches on the space, chain 1, next puff stitch. Okay, and we're just gonna keep repeating. Double crochet between the puff and the double crochet from the previous round, and then we're gonna double crochet on top of the 4 double crochets we did. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're gonna double crochet between the double crochet and the puff stitch. Okay, and now we have 6 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 puff stitches. So we're gonna repeat that same thing until we finish right here. We're gonna do 2 puff stitches between the 2 puff stitches, chain 1, another puff, okay, and then double crochet between puff stitch and double crochet on top of the previous 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4, double crochet between double crochet and puff stitch, and repeat all the way around until we get right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm about done with the round. Again, you should end up with the double crochets. We're gonna slip stitch in top of the first puff that we did. Okay, and then same thing, go to the next space, slip stitch, chain 2, and make 2 puff stitches, chain 1, make the next one, okay, and we're basically just gonna repeat what we've been doing. Double crochet between the space between the puff and the double crochet, and double crochet on top of the 6 double crochets we did on the previous round. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, double crochet between the space between the double crochet and the puff stitch. Okay, and now you should have 8 double crochets, and we just repeat the same thing, 2 puff stitches in the middle of the space of the 2 puffs from the previous round. Double crochet between puff and double crochet on top of the 6 double crochets we did previously. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Double crochet between double crochet and puff stitch, and that makes 8 double crochets, and we're just gonna repeat the same thing all the way around until we get to the end. So let's go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished the round here, and again I finished with the double crochets, and same thing, slip stitch on top of the puff stitch, slip stitch in the middle space, and we're just gonna repeat same thing, chain 2, 2 puff stitches, second puff stitch, double crochet between the space of the puff and the double crochet, and we're gonna double crochet on the next 8 stitches. Then we're gonna double crochet between double crochet and the puff stitch, and we should have 10 double crochets now, and we're just gonna repeat the same thing all the way around. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished the round. I just need to slip stitch on top of the puff stitch. Okay, if you are making this for a small to medium size, we're gonna stop increasing here. If you want to make yours large, extra large, you will need to make one more round increasing. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next space between the puff stitches and slip stitch. Okay, now on this round we're gonna start decreasing, so we're gonna chain 2, and we're gonna make a puff stitch on the same space, chain 1 and make the other puff stitch. Okay, now we're gonna start decreasing. So on the next stage, on the next 2 actually, that's where our decrease is gonna be. So we're gonna technically double crochet 2 together. So we insert our hook on the first stitch, we have 3 loops, turn over, pass through 2, turn over, go to your next stitch. Now we have 4 loops, yarn over, pass through 2, turn over, pass through all 3. That's our first decrease. And now we're gonna go ahead and double crochet on the next 8 double crochets. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then we go ahead and do 2 puff stitches, and we're just gonna repeat the same thing. we make the 2 puff stitches, and then we do the decrease and repeat all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, about done with this round again. I just need to slip stitch on top of the puff stitch. Okay, and to start the new round, slip stitch on the next space, chain 2, we make another 2 puff stitches again, chain 1, make the other puff stitch, okay, and then we're gonna decrease again on the next 2 stitches. So we insert our hook on the first stitch. We have 3 loops, turn over, pass through 2, turn over, go to the next stitch. We have 4 loops, turn over, pass through 2, 3 loops, turn over, pass all 3, and then we double crochet on the next 7 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we make another set of 2 puff stitches, and we just repeat the same thing all the way around until we get to the end. Okay, I just got here to the end. I'm gonna slip stitch on the first puff stitch and repeat slip stitch on the next space, chain 2, and 2 puff stitch, and there's 1, and 2, and then we're gonna repeat what we've been doing. We're gonna decrease again. So on the first stitch we have 3 loops, turn over, pass through 2, turn over, next stitch we have 4, yarn over, pass through 2, we have 3 left, yarn over, pass through all 3, and now we are going to double crochet on the next 6 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we just repeat from there. 2 puff stitches, decrease, double crochet on the next 6, and then we just repeat all the way around. Okay, I just got here to the end of the round. I'm just going to slip stitch so I can finish it, and then same thing, slip stitch in the middle of the puff stitch, chain 2, make 2 puff stitches, chain 1, the other puff stitch, okay. Now we're gonna decrease again, pass it through 2, turn over, next stitch, pass it through 2, turn over, pass it to all 3, and now we're gonna double crochet on the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're gonna decrease on the last 2 remaining stitches. So again, we insert. We have 3 loops, over 2, yarn over, next stitch, pass through 2, pass through all 3, and then we do the 2 pop stitch. Decrease on the next 2 stitches, pass through 2, next stitch, pass through 2, pass through all 3, double crochet on the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, decrease on the last 2, yarn over 2, pass it through 2, next stitch, pass it through 2, yarn over, pass it through 3, and we keep repeating all that all the way around until we get to the end. Okay, I just finished my round there. Okay, and then from over there I am going to chain 2, and I'm going to double crochet on the same space. Okay, the chain 2 is not gonna count as the first double crochet, it's just this one right here. Now we're gonna make a double crochet on the space here between pop stitches, and then I'm gonna make another double crochet on top of this pop stitch right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna make a double crochet in each of these 5 stitches right here. First 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I'm going to double crochet on top of the pop stitch, double crochet in the middle space, double crochet on top of the pop stitch, I'm sorry, and then on the next 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I'm just gonna repeat that same thing all the way to the end until we get over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, to finish the round, I'm just gonna slip stitch on top of the first double crochet that I did. Okay, now for the second round we're gonna chain 2, and then what we're gonna do next, we're gonna do a front post and back post, and to do that we're gonna wrap our yarn around, and then I'm gonna go between this chain 2 and this double crochet. I'm gonna insert my hook, and then kind of towards the back I'm gonna push the stitch up like so, and I'm gonna do a double crochet. That's a front post double crochet, and then to do the back post we're technically gonna do the same thing. So we wrap our yarn. Now we're gonna insert the hook from the back, and I'm gonna insert it between this one and this stitch right here, and then push it out like so, and finish the double crochet. Okay, so that's the back post, and that's all we're gonna do for this round. So I'm gonna do it again. Turn over, next stitch I'm gonna insert between this stitch and this one, and then from the back kind of push it up, finish the double crochet. Okay, and then back post, wrap around from the back, push the stitch out, and do the double crochet. I'm gonna do it again because I was almost out of frame right there. So front post, wrap your yarn, insert your hook in the middle of the 2 stitches, and kind of push the stitch up and finish the double crochet. Okay, wrap your yarn, back post, we're gonna insert from the back, push it out, and finish the double crochet. And we're gonna repeat that all the way around until we get to the end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just got here to the end. So now I'm gonna slip stitch on top of the first double crochet I did. Okay, we chain 2. And then we're just gonna repeat basically what we did. We're just gonna do front post on top of the front post, back post on the on top of the back post, and that's gonna be row 3. And it's just the same thing that I did at the beginning of the previous round. For the front post, you insert the hook and then kind of lift the stitch, finish your double crochet. For the back post, you insert from the back and push the stitch out and finish the double crochet. So we're just gonna repeat that all the way around for all this round, and then so this is round 3 of the brim. So for round 3, 4, and 5, we're just gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just here to the end. I just need to do a slip stitch on top of my first double crochet. We can cut our yarn. You can weave ends, and this is the end of the tutorial. And this is how our hat looks. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.